I think we're good.
Hey guys, and welcome to, wrong podcast.
Yeah, we can do that. All right, we're going to start recording. All right, so a whole new thing called the Craig Gibson podcast, and I'm here with Andy Rajivan from Barbell Club, and so I wanted to. This is the second one I've done in terms
Exciting.
of Craig Gibson podcast, and I'm extremely grateful to you, Andy, because you know, I spoke to you a little earlier about some insecurities that I had about, you know, my own journey and, you know, the sound of your own voice and what people think of you. And then you, and gratefully, I was grateful that you invited me on to have a chat, and a lot of things changed for me on that day. And you set me on a journey where to stop worrying about what other people think, and, you know, and has inspired me to now start to talk to other people in this format. So I thought it was fitting that, you know, I come out here and to Raw Barbell Club and just check in on you and see what's happening in your life and get to know you a little bit better. So the Craig Gibson podcast is all about interviewing business owners, coaches, athletes, anyone that can bring some value to other people's lives. And I think you sum all of those up. You know, great business owner, great athlete, great coach, and you have so much interesting things to say, and I always enjoy our conversations. So I just thank you for everything that you do, and welcome.
Dude, what an introduction. First off, thanks, man. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see like your growth, and it's cool that you even were able to attribute like a snap change in your life to something. And I think, like, I haven't known you for very long. Like, we're what you know, we were talking about before, fast friends.
Fast friends, yeah.
You know, people that lean on each other. Like, we do talk reasonably often, and we share, you know, things that are going on in our lives together, but we don't really know that much of each other's backgrounds.
Exactly.
We kind of started. It's kind of cool. It's like coming into the third season of a TV show without watching the preceding two seasons.
Exactly.
So I haven't seen any of your flaws.
Yep.
I haven't seen any of your greatest victories. I just know you as the Craig you are today. So it's my opinion of you is not colored by that, and your opinion of me is not colored by any of my my problems or past either.
Yeah, it's an authentic relationship then, because you're taking a friendship on face value.
Kind of like Tinder.
Jesus. I've been single for a little while, and there have been people like, get on Tinder. I'm not ready for that. Yeah, that's another whole different podcast. But yeah, so in all seriousness, you have inspired myself to start this form of communication, and the reach that it can have and the impact that it can have on other people. You know, I really will forever be appreciative of that. And so today, yeah, it's just a little bit about those first two episodes. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sydney.
Yep.
I'm Sydney born and raised, but I grew up in Glendenning, which is not too far away.
Yes.
And it's quite funny that, like, even if you move away from this area, so I grew up in Glendenning. We moved to Wollongong for a bit, and then moved out back to Glendenning, and then to Kellyville.
Okay.
So you kind of go from, like, you know, the suburbs in a up and coming neighborhood, which is not a really high socioeconomic area, to eventually living in Kellyville, which is like a real, it's not like really yuppie area, but like it's a place where, like, middle classes.
Yeah.
And then now I'm back out this way, which is again like starting fresh. And you know, like that might sound like ungrateful or whatever,
No.
but it's just like if you look at things turning full circle, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did you go to Wollongong for?
We were there for like two years.
Okay, so not long.
No, not super long, but it made an impact.
Yeah.
Because that's when I, you know, fell in love with kind of the outdoors. The lifestyle that entails is still very intriguing to me. Like being able to just after school go to the beach, hang out and stuff like that.
How old were you then when you moved to Wollongong?
Dude, I don't even know. I can't even remember. I would have been in primary school. But yeah, you're like super young.
Yeah. What are your favourite memories as a kid?
I guess favorite is a tough one. I liked doing stuff outdoors with my family. I really liked toys. And I liked playing make-believe. But like dress up make-believe. And like if people know me now, they know that I love dressing up as well still.
Do you know one thing I didn't know about you, and it cracked me up? Did you go to a Comic Con or recently?
Yeah, I went to Comic Con recently.
Yeah.
Like this year, last year.
Yeah, so does that stem from all the way back to your childhood?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so as a kid, I was obsessed with the Power Rangers.
Yep.
I loved Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Like so much so that like I remember my dad banning me from watching it because like I was getting like a bit violent and you know like, you break one too many vases and you know like maybe you shouldn't be watching that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like why do you have vases around kids?
Yeah, and you know, pictures hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, you know, when I was a kid, we were playing indoor cricket, and the amount of paintings we smashed. Why have that stuff in the house?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing was to dress up like a superhero.
Yeah.
And, you know, embody that. You know, be invincible, be strong, overcome great obstacles and play that play that archetype.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have two sisters.
Two sisters, younger, older?
Two younger sisters.
Okay. Are you guys close still now? Or?
Yeah, so like we're close. I'm probably the closest I am to my sisters now. So one of my sisters is only like two and a bit years younger than me. And we're closest now. She actually lives in Queensland.
Okay.
Traitor. But but yeah, like we're closest now. When we were growing up, we were reasonably close. But you know, as you get to that 18 years old, and like your friendship group starts to like meld, and it's a really trying time for siblings, especially like one female, one male. Like I didn't like the things she was doing. She probably didn't like the things I was doing, and vice versa. And now we meet in the middle because we're both adults. Our youngest sister is like many years younger than her. Like she's only like 20 now. And like I think we're both much closer with her now, but she shares a lot of what I love. Yeah. So she's the one that was like, come to Comic Con with me. Yeah. The first year, and I didn't dress up. And she did, and then this year she was the one that made my outfit.
Yeah. Wow.
Which was really cool because that was a bonding experience for us too. She's like, will you even wear this if I make it for you? I'm like, yeah.
Did you influence her to like comics? And
no, I think she fell into it herself.
Yeah, that's interesting. How did you come about to love it so much? Do you remember why? Was there someone you looked up to, or it just took your interest?
It took my interest because I like TV.
Right.
It's what I watched on TV. Like you know, I was in that age of like before school cartoons. You know, like Cheese TV. Yeah. Yeah. I used to watch Transformers, Ninja Turtles, all of that stuff. I was never a Pokemon guy though.
Yeah, okay.
I did like Digimon.
Digimon. I don't even know what Digimon is.
Yeah, okay.
I'm showing my age.
How
old are you?
Probably an age disparity. I'm 28. I'm 29 this year.
Yeah, right.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 44.
All right, this podcast is over.
I know, mate. There's so many instances around the gym and life now where I go, yeah, I'm getting old. You could see I notice the generation gap. Yeah, so you'll experience it one day.
Oh, dude, I already do. And like this TikTok crap, like far out.
Yeah, what's your opinion on TikTok?
Well, funny enough, I've had TikTok since 2017.
Really?
Yeah, so I was an early adopter.
Yeah.
But I only posted one thing, and I was like, this is rubbish.
Yeah.
But it's blown up.
It's growing. Yeah, so it used to be for really young people, but now it's, everyone's getting on it. Yeah, anyway. Where'd you go to school? What was your school life like?
So primary school, so my parents have been really into academics.
Mm-hmm.
They really, so primary school was fine. I did reasonably well. I was pushed into academics. Year 5, year 6 were a bit tougher for me. That's when like my rebellious side sort of kicked in. I did have a problem with authority a little bit.
You still do?
I still do, yeah, I definitely still do. But like, I didn't know how to turn that into a positive.
Yeah.
Still don't. But, and so in high school, that became a big problem for me. And I actually don't have many fond memories of high school. That was a trying time. But I went to Our Lady of the Rosary in Kellyville for most of my primary schooling, which is a Catholic school. I was raised Catholic. I'm now staunch atheist.
Yeah.
And then high school, I went to Normanhurst Boys, which is a academically selective school.
When you say high school was tough, in what way?
Just like that's when I started to experiment with partying, drugs, and all of that stuff. Like, I've never had issues with those things.
Yeah.
Except for smoking. Like, I smoked a lot when I was a kid, which I regret now.
Yeah.
But that was when I started doing those things, and they didn't really gel with school life, and school wasn't the best way for me to learn. Like, I learned a lot from stuff like this.
Yes.
Having talking conversations, one-on-one, from listening to people, not from like rote learning, which is what essentially like your HSC is all about. And that's what school is doing. School is aiming you like as an arrow towards a target, and that target is the HSC. And that is not how I learned. So it was very constrictive. I didn't like the binds, and I railed against those.
Yeah. Do you think you were rebelling against your parents?
My
the
parents,
system?
The system.
Yeah.
My parents, they love me to death.
Yeah.
The only thing I can fault them on is giving me everything that I needed.
Yeah.
Which is bad too, because it made me a baby.
Yeah, it breeds entitlement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely have that chip that I've got to like fight constantly. So they did everything right, and they were, I can't say that they're perfect, but to me they are.
Yeah, yeah, and that's nice to hear.
People don't get that, man. Like, a lot of people don't have the luxury of saying that their parents did everything for them, and my parents did.
Yeah, yeah. Did you get into fights at school?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Like I got a couple of scars and stuff from fights growing up, but not. It was more so like, like my friendship group. If they were in trouble, I'd jump in.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like me looking for fights.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. When you left school, what was life like after that? What did you do after school?
So after school, obviously, like my life was aimed at getting ATAR. So I got into Macquarie University.
Yeah.
And I studied business.
Wow. And did you continue on with that? Did you finish
Yeah, I
your
finished.
degree?
So I got a degree in business administration and a HEX debt to
Fantastic.
show it off.
What was uni life like?
I liked uni.
Yeah.
So uni was the opposite of school, in the sense that, yeah, there were rules and ways they wanted you to learn, and like ways you wanted you to learn, but a lot of business was, especially as you got into the 300 level units. So like my degree is a three-year degree. First year is like learning principles. Second year is like working on those. Third year is like strategy, like how do we put these in place?
Yep.
And that is like a game. So literally like a couple of those 300 level courses were like, you know, let's go. One was a marketing game where you basically launched a product and took it through a simulation, and the person who, or the team that progressed the best through that simulation essentially got the highest marks.
Right.
And I think we came like either first or second in that.
Mad.
And then a lot of those subjects were like that.
Yeah.
And you know, university kind of, so like anyone who's been to university is like, the one thing that sucks is like group projects, because there's always someone that's going to drag the chain or whatever. And I learnt during university that I could do both.
Yeah, right.
I could either take charge and do things really well, or I could drag the chain and be the guy who's like all talk and no action.
What made you pick business?
It was kind of chosen for me. Like mum and
Okay.
dad were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, I didn't have any passions.
Yeah.
I didn't have any academic passions. If I could go back in time, I would definitely have chosen something like physiotherapy.
Okay.
Because I think right now in my life, I'm more suited for that.
Yes.
And I've often thought, if I was to go back to university, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's interesting when you look back in hindsight of what you would do differently, but it's your life. And you make decisions at that time based on how you feel and what you're doing at that time.
Like if you could change your, if you go back time and learn a new skill in a professional capacity, like whether that be a trade or going back to school or whatever, what would you do?
Mine was, so I was contracted at South Sydney Rugby League Club. So I've never been able to be a builder, carpenter, plumber. I can't look at something and go, that's how you fix it. And I'm not mathematical, I'm not, but I was really good at sport. And I didn't apply myself the way that I should have in rugby league, and I could have had quite a good career. And if I could go back, I would put all of my eggs into the rugby league basket.
Yeah.
And then go into coaching or administration in a club. If I could go back in time, that's what I'd do.
So what's stopping you? I guess if you see the progression of going from athletics to coaching to administration, is there a circuitous route to administration if that was your end goal anyway? Like, is there some way you could float your way into an admin role right now?
There is, but I've also found the gym environment,
Yeah.
and I'm getting that satisfaction from managing a business in the gym environment,
Okay.
and that's satisfying enough.
Yeah.
It's so for me it's about now building upon that.
Okay.
Yeah. Also too, the roles in administration now in rugby league require, degrees and a lot of experience in that field, in terms of sticking with rugby league the whole time. So, yeah, I guess for me, I'm satisfied with where I'm at in terms of I want to be in that gym environment, growing businesses around relationships with people.
Yeah.
So, but I guess to answer your question, I would have applied myself more as an athlete at that time, and I gave it up all way too easily.
Yeah. So it's not about where you would be today. It's just I don't want to say regret.
It's regret.
Well, I guess it's the regret of not taking full advantage of what you had at the time.
Correct. Yeah.
But that's a lesson too, right?
Yeah, exactly right. And regret's a hard word, but everything that you do in life is a lesson.
Yeah.
It's as long as you learn from that. So, yeah, but I do look back on that time as a regret.
Yeah.
The way to deal with that regret is to
Cry.
think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There's been a lot of tears. Is to think more. Is to try and put a positive spin on it by saying it was a lesson.
Yes.
So,
because that's all you can do if you're not crying, right? Is to learn from that crap and make you stronger.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could have, and it's the potential that was wasted and the could have.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
You never know where you could have ended up because of that.
That's what hurts, yeah. What did you do? Did you work during your degree?
Yeah, so I actually started a career while I was doing my degree.
Yes.
Which is my first business.
Yeah.
Where I look after, set up and maintain fish tanks.
Awesome.
Do you know that I do that?
Yeah, I do, but that's all I know about it.
Yeah.
So how did you get your first client? Why did you go into that?
I've always, when I was growing up, my second love was animals.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd end up working in a zoo.
Yeah.
Or doing some sort of animal husbandry. I even did my work experience in year 10 at Taronga.
Really?
Yeah, so I was really barreling down that path.
It's a very niche market.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing to go from. Animals and people are same, but very different as well. So it's funny that we ended up. I mean, you two, we ended up in the relationship business because that's what we're in, in gyms.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was barreling down that path. I got a job at a local pet store, then moved to another pet store in Auburn Aquarium, where I met really who I'd consider my first mentor, Wayne Bugler. I don't know if I wrecked his last name, but he was instrumental. He's still in my life.
Yep.
He's a older gentleman who owns that store. He was instrumental in my growth as a person.
Can you
both
share
rightly and
some
wrongly.
of what he
he's just
taught you?
He's business savvy. He's a fast talker. He's a good salesman. He's actually an excellent salesman.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen him sell stuff that I'm like, why? But he's so good at it.
Yeah.
And he's a really fun dude. He's 55. He's he's got a beautiful young Thai wife, a lovely family. He's always given me the time of day.
Yeah.
To talk to me, mentor me, teach me. So I learned a lot about aquariums and stuff from him. And working there, he encouraged me to, when I was I want to start my own thing, because people keep asking me to come over to their place and help set their tank up. Or they hey, I'm okay, this is how we deal with your issues with your fish tank, with your fish deaths and stuff. Oh, can you just come and fix it? I'll pay you money. And he was one person that was yeah. He was doing some of that work, and he's you know what? I don't even want to do that work anymore. I just want the shop. How about I give you some of those clients as well? And that was a big start for me, getting some of those first clients through the shop.
Yep.
And then I guess the second person that was a huge mentor to me was someone who I considered my best friend for a long time, who is no longer the case. But Chris Chandler, like, love him to death. We've just gone down very different roads.
Okay.
But he was very entrepreneurial and really pushed me to start Aquaria at that time in my life. Like, he purchased my domains for me, you know, built my first website for me. He was the one that taught me how to drive my van, because I had never driven manual before properly. Took me to go buy my first van.
Yeah.
And like, so like, without him, without these people, like, I've always thought I'm like really just lucky. Like, a lot of the stuff fell into my lap.
Yeah.
You know, awesome parents, awesome mentors, people like you that just happen to fall into my life that give me things.
I think that's a reflection of the person that you are, because you don't want to help people that not good people.
Yeah.
But I'm sure everyone that meets you feels the same, that you're always there to help others, and you're always, through your podcasts and your coaching and your business, you're always trying to help people. And, you know, people respect that, and that's why you're always going to have good people help you and be in your life, because that's what you reflect.
But I'm only like that because other people have given me the time of day. Like, I wasn't always like that. I'd be a taker as well. But I'm only, like, trying to help other people because so many people helped me.
Yeah, just trying to give back.
Trying to give back all the time.
So are you happy with where Aquaria is at the moment?
It's where it needs to be right now. I sacrificed a lot of Aquaria to do this.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly so. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
It was a very profitable business when I was younger. Like, while I was at university, like, I was doing really well.
Yeah.
And then as I started doing more gym stuff, I really let that fall to the wayside. And now it's more so like a hobby business.
Okay.
I have a few select customers that I really like to deal with. And I do take on new work, but it's only if the jobs are like, you know, like, the people are really nice, and if they gel with me, or if they're interesting people that I can talk to while cleaning their tanks.
Yeah. Did you recently do a huge tank down in Sydney?
Yeah. That job's still going on. That's a big
awesome.
job.
That looked awesome.
And the dude is, like, really cool, because, like, he's obviously, like, very well off.
Yeah.
But I've had a couple of conversations with him. Like, he's in tech. He was in San Fran for a while, like, tech startups, and now he owns, like, a whole bunch of commercial properties out there. And I'd love to have more conversations with him, because that street where he lives, like, he walked me down the street and he's like, so that's the guy that started David Jones. That's the guy that, you know, owns this business and that business. And I'm like, holy crap, this neighborhood is amazing. Can you imagine, like, the podcast that could come out of there?
That's where we need to set up podcasts.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, 100%. Go straight to the honeypot. Yeah, it always amazes me where people are in life, where they've come from. You know, what a street. Because the view is of the harbour.
Yeah, the view of that place is Harbour Bridge, Luna Park, Opera House, from the back of his house.
And that fish tank had to be craned in?
Yeah, it had to be craned in, because it's like right at the bottom of the house, and the house is multiple levels, and yeah, it's legit. Like, again, like, I had someone helping me on that job, so like, I earned the job, but I subcontracted out to people that know more than me to make that job happen. Yeah,
that's really cool. What was your first ever job?
It was a pond. Yeah, it was a pond behind Macquarie University.
Yeah, right.
It was a strata job.
Yep.
And it was a pain in the ass to do, but the money that I made from that job bought all of my equipment.
There you go.
Which is cool, because not many people, like, you know, you run businesses. Like, how long are you in the red for? Sometimes people never get out of the red. right? So, and that's something I learned early on is like the faster you can get out of red. So for those that don't know, that means like out of debt or whatever, the better. So I bought all my equipment on credit cards, and that job paid for all that equipment up front.
Yeah. Mate, I'm a massive advocate now for not having debt, and I'm currently personally bankrupt, and so I know firsthand the stress and the problems that debt can bring to your life, and it's crippling, and it keeps people in jobs they hate. And any advice I can give to people is to have as minimal debt as possible. And you can be in business for a long time and just carrying debt, but it's very restrictive. It's a poison.
And I guess this goes to what we were talking about before the podcast, is like, what owning a business essentially is about profit, right?
Yeah.
So anything you can do to retain as much profit as possible is the most important thing. But secondary to that is like anything you can do to keep your expenses as low as possible is also super important.
Correct.
So I would tell anyone who's thinking about starting a business to keep their costs down as much as possible when you first start, and grow. Don't open something that you need to grow into. Open something and outgrow where you were. So a cool thing about Aquaria for me was like the costs were van, equipment. I bought the van outright with savings, so it meant that I didn't have that liability, and everything else on top of that, after all of that initial expense, was just profit, and that's what got me through.
Yeah.
So I still drive a crappy van. Like, it's a 2004 Toyota Hiace.
2004.
Yeah. So my first van was like a 97.
Yeah.
And it broke. And it broke down. I gave it away for free. So I didn't make any money on that.
Yeah.
And then I bought this one outright again.
Yeah.
Like, I've never bought like new cars. I've never had fancy stuff.
Yep.
But that's also because like that's not what I put my money. Like, I put my money towards podcast equipment.
Yeah, no. And it's not cheap either, is it?
No, you know what? I'm super jealous of like how cool your setup is now.
Well,
Like, I'm talking into these mics and I'm like, wow, the quality. It sounds so rich compared to mine.
No, but that's and this is this has been a flaw of mine my whole life, is that
buying the most expensive stuff straight up.
Straight up, and then you try and learn how to use it, which I wanted to also mention that I'm learning how to use all of this equipment, and like I'm not even at the stage yet of, like, you've even helped me with video today.
Yeah.
But you were here helping me understand a lot more of the equipment that I have. But I will admit I'm trying to be smarter with my purchases, and I think this brings me so much enjoyment now.
Yeah.
That I'm saving in other areas where I usually would have just spent money or blown my money, but I saved for this. And
so it's not on a credit card.
It's not on credit card, and that's, it's being bankrupt has been such a great lesson on how to save. And
do you mind talking about that?
No, not at all.
Because I have some questions. What does being bankrupt mean? Because a lot of people don't realize that being bankrupt doesn't mean that you can't, like, people think it's like death. But a lot of business owners, especially really successful ones, have multiple bankruptcies. Like, it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
And it does, I guess, affect things like credit scores and stuff. But there's obviously advantages to declaring that.
Yeah, that's right.
So can you tell me about
it? So a lot of my debts were unsecured. So credit cards, car loans. I divorced 2 years ago now, and so just some debt left over from that, and then going into business to set up the CrossFitter Edie, borrowed more money to get into it.
Yeah.
So that was the portion that really tipped me over the edge, and I basically just could not service the debt with the income that I was earning. So the only option was to declare bankrupt, and the perception is it's 7 years and you're ruined forever.
Yeah.
But
So kind of like if you broke a mirror.
yes, yeah, it's 3 years.
Yeah.
So I was in a position where I was getting 3 to 4 phone calls from each institution a day, and it was just the stress of it and how am I going to pay this. So the day that you declare bankrupt, all of those phone calls stopped. All of the credit card limits, my unsecured loans disappeared from my bank accounts, and I was left with one savings account.
Yeah.
And so once you apply to, I forget the name of it, there is a government department where you apply for bankruptcy, and then they contact all of your creditors on your behalf and say, Craig Gibson has declared bankruptcy. You no longer have a legal right to contact him. And then they appoint you an administrator,
Yep.
basically. And to this day, I haven't even spoken to that person, but they advised all the creditors that I was unable to pay the debts, and it all just went away. I can earn up to $56,000 a year.
So it's not like a free pass.
It's not a free pass. So then there comes conditions.
Yeah.
So for 3 years, I can't borrow any money. You are allowed to borrow up to $3,000 around that mark, but you have to declare to that institution that you are currently bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's a crime to not declare if you want to borrow money. So you can earn up to $56,000 a year, and they can't touch that. They can't touch your superannuation.
Yeah.
You can own a car to the value of $7,000.
Oh, so do you want to buy a van?
Yeah. I might actually.
It's alright, my van's not worth 7,000. You have a bit more to spend.
So pretty much that's pretty much all I know. Then at the end of your 3 years, which will be the 8th of March 2020, what was that, 19, 20, so 22,
Yeah.
you start with a clean slate, and that's it, away you go. But what it's forced me to do is I now save, and instead of, geez, I love those Metcons or Nanos and putting them on the credit card,
Yeah.
I save the money.
Yeah.
I have more savings in my account now than I ever have, because I've always been a spender.
Okay.
And that's what's got me into trouble. So it's not as bad as what everyone thinks. I'm happier than I've ever been financially.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't have any restriction on having to pay back money, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I now have a freedom of having savings in the account and being able to do more things that I like to do with that money, rather than earning a wage and all of it going to rent and debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understanding that I'm not finding faults or that I think that it's bad or whatever, is there any level of guilt that you have to leaving your creditors in limbo, like without paying back that debt?
There was initially. I don't now, because, and this might be wrong, but this is how I justified in my mind that all of the debt is unsecured
Yeah.
I
So
got
they knew what they were getting into to an extent.
to an extent. I never spoke to a person to get any of that debt.
Yeah.
You just go online, apply for the credit card. It appears in your bank account the next day.
Yeah.
I secured a $50,000 personal loan unsecured, and I never spoke to a person. They put it in my account. It took 24 hours for it to lob.
Yeah.
It was at a time, you know, this is for another podcast, but you know, I had a Michelle's Patisserie franchise,
Yeah.
and the rules that were broken by the bank and also Michelle's Patisserie as a franchisor to allow us to get into it was negligent on their behalf.
Yeah.
They like it in their franchise agreement that you cannot borrow more than 60% of the value of the franchise. We borrowed 100%.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And for people that don't realize, like, when you buy into like a big franchise, for example, like McDonald's has a really good system.
Yeah.
They require you to have a year's wage so that you can support yourself while you're learning the business without drawing from the gym. Everything with me is gym. From the business. Also, they want, like, I think they ask for you to have $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
Plus the money that you've put towards the business. So like, they don't want people that aren't financially stable to open franchises. So like, that seems like a really, you know, like, red flag thing. I mean, in hindsight.
Yeah, in hindsight, and you know, just you're excited to open up your own business, and at the time, we don't have 40% savings, and then they said, oh, don't worry about that, we'll overlook that. But now in hindsight, a year later, Michelle's Patisserie sold their business to Retail Food Group, and so they were trying to expand as quickly as possible to gather more stores to make Michelle's Patisserie more attractive and viable to their buyer.
Yeah.
So they went against all their own principles and laws
and
values, and allowed a heap of stores. They went from like 260 to 360 stores in months, and we were part of that.
Because acquisition is like a very profitable end goal for a franchise.
Yeah. So all of this has occurred in a time where banks have just been throwing money at people, and rightly or wrongly, you know, and that plays on people's insecurities and you know, people's wants and needs, and you easy come, easy go.
Yeah.
So yes, I feel bad. I do feel like a failure, and I do feel less of a man, but I've come to terms with it, and it is a lesson.
Yeah.
And I'm far happier
now
than I was. Look, if I would feel worse if I was deceitful in obtaining that money.
Yeah.
I don't know if that even makes sense.
No, it does. The only reason I ask is because I would have had the same thoughts.
Yeah.
And I do have the same thoughts. Like, if I borrow money from friends or Kush, like, Kush financed so much of this gym for me. I mean, like, we're partners.
Yeah.
Both in relationship and within the gym, like, equal partners. But like, she paid for a lot of crap that I'll never be able to pay her back for at that time.
Yep.
So like, I often just wonder, like, how people feel about, you know, like, I'm a very, like, you know, you do something for me, and like, I'll make sure to repay that.
Yeah.
So like, not doing that is hard, but then like, when you explain to me, like, you know, it's an unsecured debt, it's, you know, these big financial institutions that they I'm not going to say that they're predatory.
No.
But, you know, like, the systems are in place with backups and stopgaps to make it that they're not actually losing out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, you know, I am a conspiracy man, but if you look at how, you know, like our financial system is set up and how debt is set up and how the banks actually operate, you know, you do come to an understanding that, you know, money that goes out is not equal to money that goes in. There's a reason that we'll never be able to all pay back our debts to Reserve Bank and all of that. Like, that's just how these systems are. And to be honest, like, bankruptcy is a way of protecting a citizen from essentially financial suicide.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, we've spoken about this before. It led me down to a path where I was planning my own suicide because I didn't see a way out. That failure of that thought of failure and the overwhelming fog of not being able to see out. Bankruptcy's been a huge part of clearing that fog.
Yep.
And
Bankruptcy saved your life.
Yeah. Yep. And that and a couple of key people.
Yep.
Yeah, so if anyone does need advice or just someone to talk to about that, I'm happy to talk to anyone about it. And it's something that everyone, there's shame around it. And you say, oh, he's bankrupt, fuck. But I'm trying to, by talking about it, say that, you know, reduce that stigma around it. And people go bankrupt all the time and you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm living a pretty happy life right now and I'm bankrupt. So yeah, if anyone needs any advice or just wants to talk about the possibility of it or the overwhelming feeling of debt, I know what it's like. So you just have to reach out.
It's cool. It's so cool that you talk about that stuff, man. Like, I'm super appreciative because, like, I know, like, some of it. And, like, we've talked a bit about stuff before, but I didn't know the details or, like, your real thoughts. And for some reason, that's the cool thing about podcasts is, like, you can bring the stuff up that is socially usually unacceptable.
Yes.
And talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I really want to know about TRT as well.
TRT?
Yeah,
the
testosterone.
Oh, yeah.
replacement therapy.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
If you're done talking about the other stuff.
Yeah. I was just going to quickly say, like, with the banks, they went to a point where we were borrowing money to get into the Michelle's Patisserie franchise. So I went in it with my parents and then myself and my wife. We had a partnership, 50-50 each. So my parents, who were, you know, they're elderly, and to borrow their half of the money, they couldn't at the time use their house as security. So the bank said, well, what about my grandparents using their house as security for the loan?
So they went in as guarantors.
So my grandparents went in as guarantor for my parents' half. Now, they made up that my grandfather was a wholesale car dealer and made up an income for him.
Oh.
To get the loan,
so
which
that's
is
like
what the
fraud as
broker
well.
did.
Yeah.
You know, these are the things that were going on around 2005, 2006, 2004 to 2006. It was fucking good times. Brokers were just making up shit to give people an income to get a loan.
That happened here. It wasn't just the States and everywhere else. There's a reason it was a global financial crisis, 2008, 2009.
Yeah, and that's when it all just melted because it was not sustainable. People were getting money and not being able to afford our circumstances changed dramatically when we got into the business. But, it's another story. But, so when I think about the bank's behaviour in the last 20 years, it softens the blow for me.
Yeah. And for people that are listening, like, I think it's really important for you guys to understand, like, we're talking about this, like, quite freely and openly, and you don't take into account the countless hours of thinking, of crying, of, you know, like that destitution that he got before he's able to say it. You know, like I do feel bad, but I kind of also don't. Like, it's not that he's just like flippant about it. Like, a lot of thought went into that statement you just said right now.
Mate, like I said on that previous podcast, I planned to end my life. I had a night where it, you know, I'm just getting goosebumps now thinking of it, like reliving being at that moment, and it was so close. And, you know, the amount of times just driving in the car crying, this went on for months, years of worry and stress, and at the final year before going bankrupt was it was hell.
Yeah.
And so literally it has saved my life. So yeah, it's I might sound flippant about it, and, you know, it's how I justify it now, but yeah, I'm appreciative that you brought that up, because yeah, the months and years of struggle mentally and physically, worrying about it and feeling ashamed and depressed and feeling less of a man, they're all powerful things to a person's pride.
Yeah.
But I'm over all that now.
Excellent.
Which
And
is
yeah,
good.
and I just wanted people to know that we don't take the subject lightly,
Yeah.
or, you know, the paying back of debts lightly. Like, it's serious stuff.
Yeah.
It's just that we came to it, and like, we don't have much time to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, no, you just gotta go
So,
for days.
Yeah.
And I tried for a long time, and I've paid so much money back already, that I've paid back hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of interest over a course of the last 15 years. Yeah. Hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm so interested in it. Like, I'm young, but like,
Yep.
I often think, like, I want my parents to be around forever.
Yep.
I know it's not going to happen. And
Yep.
that's why, like, I force Kush's parents to come to the gym and train and be stronger.
Yep.
But, like, a big part of getting older as a dude is not being the spry young 20-year-old you were.
Yeah, absolutely. So it all started for me, and look, I don't know a lot of scientifically about
I just
it.
want to know your experience, man.
So there was a number of people who were. So my ex-wife Dion, so she was speaking to quite a few clients that were, you know, had hormonal issues.
Yep.
A lot of women, and then
Like, thyroid issues?
thyroid and just imbalances in their in their hormone levels, and that was, you know, affecting, you know, change of life, you know, a whole heap of stuff. And then there was a couple of guys that she was speaking to that, just don't feel young anymore, blah blah blah. So, and Dion had her own health struggles with hormone imbalances and stuff. So she started to, she saw a number of specialists in relation to her health needs, I guess.
Yeah.
And so she got recommended, so she was training a client, and the client said to her, you should go and see these doctors at this practice, which is Burke Street Clinic down in Surrey Hills.
Yeah.
And Dr. Karen Phelps, who used to be in charge of the Australian Medical Association, and then recently was in Parliament. It's her practice. And so she went down and saw one of the doctors there, and she come home and she said, look, they're fantastic, and a lot of her issues were sorted out. And she said, you should come along and get just a full checkup. And I was like, yeah, I'm 40 now,
Getting on in years.
Getting on in years, yeah, you don't feel as energetic, and things hurt more. So basically, it all started for me with just getting a full checkup.
Yeah.
So went down.
So that's like bloods,
blood pressure, a whole blood work, and it come back and everything was great except my testosterone level. So the markers, or what they deem to be acceptable, is between 12 being the lowest and 28 being the highest. So
what would I be at? Like, would you know that?
You should be around somewhere 20 to 28. So
Okay.
up in that 20 region.
Yeah.
Anything less than 12, then they strongly recommend medical intervention,
Yeah.
or hormone replacement therapy.
And what were you?
9.
Okay, so you were
I
far under
was
that.
below 12, yeah. And so he said to me, what do you do for a living? And at the time, I was training a lot. I was working at the gym. And he said, look, I think if we got your testosterone levels up, then you would feel better. The research is that having a higher testosterone level longer in life prevents, or can prevent, heart disease, cancers, diabetes, aging. So there's a number of, so I went, let's do it. There's a number of different options that you can have. So you can have an injection every 4 months.
Yep.
And it's a slow. The exact words he used to me is, do you want to feel good or do you want to feel like Superman?
Please tell me he chose Superman.
I chose Superman. So
Did it come with a cape and cowl?
yeah, I wish it did. So the 4-month injection, it's feeling good.
Yeah.
And then there's what he prescribed me and I take now is Sustanon 250. And
Is that an injection or is
it's
that,
an injection.
Yeah. Self?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So you inject it yourself. It's pretty easy. And it is.
I was just wondering what those needles were downstairs.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. Scattered through my car like a junkie. No, it's once a fortnight.
Yep.
Injection. Yeah, that's, so I take that once a fortnight. So to give you some context, I used to take it. Then once I separated from my wife, I stopped taking it.
Yep.
Because I didn't have the money to pay for it, which it costs about $30 an injection.
And it's not covered by Medicare?
No.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so...
That sucks.
Yeah, so $30 an injection, so yeah.
So $15 a week.
Yeah.
What are your levels at when you're taking it?
So my levels got back up to around 16
Okay.
when I was taking it before.
Yeah.
And then I stopped taking it because I couldn't afford it.
And lower testosterone is very much linked to depression and stuff as well.
Absolutely.
So when you're at your darkest, it would have been handy to still have that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also too, it's harder to, low testosterone is harder to put on muscle. It's easy to gather fat. So for the last nearly 2 years, I was not on it. And then I started taking it again because in November last year, so only just recently, and there's a very distinct feeling from when I was on it before, then the 18 months to nearly 2 years of not on it, and now I'm starting to feel the benefit of it, of kicking in from taking it in November.
Yeah.
Because it's not as if like you take an injection and you feel like Superman.
Yeah.
It's sort of like you sort of don't realise you're feeling better, you're recovering a little bit quicker.
It's just gradual.
It's a gradual thing, and it's not until you stop taking it
That you
realise, oh, okay, that was, I feel a little bit off. So I've got 3 more, so 6 weeks to go, and then I go back to the doctor down at Surrey Hills to get a retest of my bloods and see what the levels are there.
Will they ever push you up to 20, or will they only ever push you above 12?
Medically they can push you to 28.
Oh, okay.
Because that's
so what
within
what's stopping
a
you
range.
from asking them to push you up to 28?
I could go in there and say it's not working at all, and my levels are going to 13, 14.
Yeah.
I want to be at 28. It would be at their risk of saying, well, I'll give you more, or instead of taking it every 2 weeks, you take it every week. They do have that option.
Okay.
And
I'm only curious because, like, if 16 makes you feel great, like 28 would make you feel amazing.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. So I know people that are in the same boat. Now they go and get the Testosterone 250 from the doctor.
Yeah.
You take it every fortnight, but then they also get it on the black market. And
yeah, fuck that. Don't do that.
That's
unsafe.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying this because this is what happens out there.
Yeah.
And
I realise that. I just want people to, like, I'm very mindful that we're having a conversation, but also other people listening potentially.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. That they're then taking it, they're getting extra, and they're taking what they're supposed to a fortnight weekly.
Yeah.
And some other stuff, and their levels, I've seen the blood tests, and they're at 52.
Yeah.
That's
what's like a bodybuilder at? Do you know? Like, did the doctor ever mention?
No, never really mentioned that.
Yeah, okay.
But looking at what 52
looks like
does for a 50-plus-year-old.
Yeah.
Wow. But I'm happy at around 16.
Yeah.
That's where I feel good. I could probably feel better, but I'm not into injections. And
yeah.
So that for me,
I'm gonna get my dad to go see this doctor.
Yeah. So Burke Street Clinic. They're awesome. They specialise in men's health.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my doctor's name. Far out. I've just gone blank. I'll put it up later, but
We'll just call him Dr. Test.
Yeah, Dr. Test. Yeah, he's actually he's so good.
Yeah.
He says, do you want the eastern suburbs, like when he takes blood? Do you want the eastern suburbs needle or the western suburbs needle?
Is the western suburbs needle like used twice or something?
It's thicker. And he says, oh, I know people that come to me from out west, they're just harder, they're just stronger, and they're he goes, we're a bit soft here on the eastern beaches. So that's always good. Again, another stigma that, but our hormone levels affect so much.
Yeah. And like testosterone, like, is like so demonized because of its effects in sport. But you're not playing sport.
No, I'm not playing sport. I just want to. You notice, you start to feel aging.
Yeah.
And if the testosterone, which naturally is produced in the body, to regain some of that to help me live a hopefully longer life and a more energetic life. I'm not having roid rages, or I'm not some different person. I actually only feel slightly better.
Yeah.
But I'd rather feel slightly better than
slightly worse.
Slightly, and keep sliding.
Yeah.
Because they're only going to keep getting lower and lower.
And your body's not naturally like you've proven that your body's not naturally able to sustain the testosterone level that is natural for a man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's
Nature's trying to get rid of us.
and we want to fight that for as long as possible.
Fight
I
that.
want you around for as long as I can, buddy. Like
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's, again, it's a stigma, and but if I could got some any advice, for you and the family and anyone who might be listening, is just go and get your bloods checked
yeah.
every now and then, and it's amazing what you can find and what help is available out there.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'd said I want to get my dad there, but I'm tempted to go see it for myself too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need TRT or HRT, whatever you want to call it, but maybe there are some things I can work on. Like, I know that lack of sleep greatly drops your testosterone.
Yeah.
I know that, stress levels greatly drop your testosterone. But if I know that my testosterone's low, maybe that's the kick in the ass I need to be like, hey, you need to sleep more, or you
Yes.
need to, because that's how my mind works. I'm like very performance and
Yep.
stuff based.
Yeah, 100%. Sleep's another huge thing. And again, this can probably end up being a podcast about bloody me.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because I have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
And so I sleep with a mask. And so I've...
Nerd.
yeah. So I've experienced both sides of the fence of feeling what it's like to have shit sleep. And now feeling what it's like to have a good sleep with... So when you said how sleep can affect testosterone, if you have sleep apnea or you snore or you have restricted airway, if you, especially sleep apnea, as you are not breathing, your body goes into a stress mode and dumps cortisol into your system to wake you up,
Yeah.
to get you breathing again. You might not be 100% conscious, but this is what's going on in your head and in your body while you're supposedly asleep. So when I had my sleep study, I was having 52 sleep apnea episodes an hour. So every minute or so I would stop breathing, my body would react, he's not breathing, dump the stress hormone cortisol into it, I'd wake up, breathe again, and then this would happen, 52 times an hour. Now with the mask, it happens 4 times an hour. And so the clarity of thought that I have, that I wake up, I'm not sleeping during the middle of the day, I'm not falling asleep at traffic lights, I'm not waking up with that dry eye feeling like the life's been sucked out of me because I'm actually sleeping.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you're getting cortisol dumped in your system all night, only a little bit, but it all adds up every night. It's hard to build muscle, it's risk of diabetes, putting on fat, heart disease. So British Bulldogs, just fat and lazy. 100% of British Bulldogs have sleep apnea.
Yeah, okay.
So they just accumulate fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sleep's very important. Yeah, so that if you do have low testosterone, you can look at how you're sleeping. I'm not sure what foods help boost testosterone, but there's a lot you can to do naturally before you have to look at hormone replacement therapy. But if your levels are low, you can medical interventions there to help.
For sure. As long as you're not competitive in any sport that
Correct.
has testing.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're a weightlifter, CrossFitter, powerlifter in a tested federation, definitely we're not recommending that.
No, you won't be able to compete.
This is for health.
Yes. Yeah.
And longevity.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's, competing days are gone now. Something I wanted to ask you, you're training at the moment, strongman.
Dude, it's so much fun.
So for those that don't know, I know, but why are you doing strongman training and what's it been like?
Yeah, so I don't know if the guys that are listening even know this, but I've been doing weightlifting for
Yep.
like many years. A lot of your listeners are probably CrossFitters.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
from your gym, your CrossFit gym.
Yep.
CrossFit Aridi. So I actually started in CrossFit.
Yeah, so I was going to get to that.
Okay. So yeah, I started in CrossFit and then found weightlifting and fell in love with that. And I feel like strongman is like CrossFit. There's so much variety in movement, but it's less reps, less cardio. Still a little bit of cardio.
Yeah.
So it's like all of the things that I loved about CrossFit and all of the things I kind of loved about weightlifting to an extent, mashed into one, and then they tripled the weight of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
How's the body feeling?
oh, dude, I'm wrecked.
Yes.
I'm hitting PRs every week because it's like doing any new thing. Like I've got newbie gains and I'm learning movements.
Yeah.
So like you saw my stone the other day.
Yeah, mate. I was like, oh, please get it, Andy. Please don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, like it was so close.
Yeah.
Yet so far away. And you know,
Yeah.
like the first time I got that onto my knees, it buried me. I was like deep in the bottom of like a weightlifting squat. Like I was like lower than Josh Wu, like all the way at the bottom there. And I just no way I was getting up out of it. And over time, just like your body learns the movement, because we know that strength isn't just muscle size. We know it's not just muscle density. You know, we know it's not just motor recruitment pattern. Motor recruitment. We know it's also just learning the movement.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing now. I've got all the strength that I learnt from weightlifting, from CrossFit, from all of that, and I'm learning how to apply that strength to these strongman movements.
Yeah.
So I'm making progress so quickly, and I'm learning so much, but it's like being a beginner again.
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
it's really, really cool.
Yeah. You've got a couple of big mentors.
Yeah, I do, man.
Lukey Reynolds and Jordan Biggie.
Yeah, he knows you. He knows you, right, Luke? Yeah.
So Luke and I used to, and Dylan Smith and Luke's brother-in-law, we used to train powerlifting and in Dylan's garage. That's how I very first started powerlifting, and Luke would do his strongman stuff, and I always admired what he did. He was just like, how do you move that weight, bro?
Fuck, he's so strong.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to have him here. So So I met him because of Jordan.
Yes.
And Jordan was like, hey, there's actually a strongman, professional strongman that lives near you. And I was like, oh, really? Who is he? Never heard of him.
Yeah.
And I was very much still weightlifting and only just, you know, we played with some strongman stuff. We had a bit of equipment here, but it was just for fun.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to Luke. Me and Luke sat down, had a podcast, and like I heard all these stories about Luke, like, and you know what his resume is, but I didn't know his resume, and then you know what his like what people think of him, and I only knew a little bit of that, but I'd heard about it, and then I sit down and talk with this guy for like 3 hours. We record only like an hour and a half, and I'm like, fuck, this guy is intelligent, he's savvy, he knows so much about the history of strongman, and like this was it's just like the perfect storm of like, I'm getting into strongman, I'm thinking about potentially trying to qualify for the highest level within Australian amateur strongman, which is like the Arnold.
Is that in March?
That's in March, so I have qualified.
Yeah.
And I did that in last year.
Are you excited? I'm
so excited.
Yeah.
But like it was the perfect storm, like because I'm meeting this guy, I'm hanging out with Jordan, I'm getting some tips from Jordan, and then I'm hanging out at Adonis Penrith with Sean, who's now my strongman coach.
Yep.
So he, you know, I've never really had a coach before. I had someone like Robert Downton a while ago doing like my programming and stuff back in the day, but I've never had someone eyes on me like what I do.
Yes.
Like I've never had what I do for someone for me, and it's amazing.
It's great, isn't it?
To have that. And I messaged Sean yesterday, and I was like, hey man, like I don't say this enough because like I know how much it means to me when people say stuff like this to me. I'm like, but like, thank you, dude. Like you've taken me, you know, under your wing. Yes, it's a paid service, but I appreciate the time and care that you spend on me. I appreciate you looking at my videos that I send you and giving me little tidbits. Same thing with Luke. Like having Luke in the gym is cool for the gym. Like people just respect him. People train harder when he's here because they know that he's strong and he's worked hard.
He's got a presence.
He's got a presence. But then at the same time, Luke's slowly taken me under his wing as well. And he'll offer me little tidbits and bits of advice and even just like the competitive strongman mindset. You know, like things like, you know, a farmer's carry. Like if you're lifting a heavy farmer's carry where your grip is failing, where it's a struggle to just deadlift that weight off the ground. Not only that, but then you got to walk with it.
Yes.
So like you walk, you know, you have a 20-meter run, you walk 10 meters and you drop the thing. You know, old me would have been like, oh fuck, I'll take it back, I'll start again and I'll warm up, I'll do what it takes to get it back. But Luke's like, no man, you don't do that. You finish that run. You gotta straight away pick that shit up and go again. Like the competitor's mindset is like so important in strongman. Every second counts.
Yes.
And like, you know, if you're a CrossFitter listening to this, that makes sense to you. But putting into practice, you know, when your hands are bleeding and you have to jump back up on that bar, do another 10 pull-ups, or you're gonna lose out on this competition. Like, there's a certain level of grit that's a little bit different to weightlifting.
Yes, 100%. Grit's a great word. With Luke too, when I was training with him, I didn't want to let him down because you respect what he brings
For sure.
and that brought out the best. I think that brings out the best in people when you don't want to let others down. I think everything's coming back full circle because I lost contact with Luke and Dylan for a while, but it's like our worlds are starting to
converge again.
Yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to talk with Matt Hamilton, who owns Last Round.
Yeah.
Which, do you know much about Matt?
No, but Luke keeps telling me I got to go meet him.
Yeah, mate. He's just an awesome guy. Hey.
Like I follow their Instagram and I watch all of his like, you know, the weird news posts and stuff that he's been doing. Like, and like I like the stuff that he's putting out. Yeah. But I'd love to meet him. He looks like an animal.
Yeah, so he used to be in the TRG, or the State Protection Group, with the New South Wales Police.
Yeah.
So you know those badasses that when shit really goes down, where they're calling those guys, that's him.
Yeah.
And he left the cops, was working as a PT at, you said North Richmond Gym above the shops there. I forget the name of it. There's another thing when you get old, mate, you start forgetting things. And then he opened up his own gym last round. And that's where Luke trains.
Yeah.
So I've watched them grow for the last 5 years. And
something to aspire to, right? Like they've got 100% good gym and good vibe.
Yeah, so I'm chatting with him tomorrow and then we'll do a podcast. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, so I think, you know, in a weird way, our worlds are starting to circle around, and then now Luke's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good, man. You've got such good mentors.
I do. It's so many people that I can lend. Like I can say that have helped me along the way.
Yeah.
Like people like you, like our conversations. People like Steve, who's younger than me, and yet like I lean on him for advice.
Yeah.
Like everyone.
Yeah.
You know, Jack is a huge mentor to me. He's the king of this gym. Like I might be the owner, but like, you know, he's top dog.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Do you think you'll continue on with Strongman after the Arnolds?
Yeah, like I think this is something that I really like.
Yeah.
I would like to be more hybridized. Like I'd love to continue doing weightlifting as well.
Yeah.
My goal this year, and I don't know if I'll actually be able to achieve it or not, is to do the Arnold, qualify for nationals in weightlifting, compete at nationals in weightlifting, and then qualify for nationals in powerlifting and compete in APU nationals.
Animal.
That's what I want to do. I understand that I've done weightlifting nationals for the last few years. The standard's a little bit higher this year, but I think I can scrape in. Like, that's what I want to do. I just want to scrape in and go.
I think it's possible.
I think it's possible because, like, I don't know what APU national qualification is, but I don't think the standard is ridiculously high to get there. I know the standard there is high, but I don't think the standard to get there is as high.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Arnold. Like, once I qualified, it was when I realized, like, oh, actually it wasn't that big a deal to qualify. It's actually a bigger deal to do well.
Yes.
And that's the scary thing. Like, a lot of people can qualify, but what you do when you get there, are you there to just show up and participate, or are you there to, like, win? And I'm there, like, I understand that it's a long shot, like, I'm nowhere near the level that my competitors are at, but I'm putting everything I can on the table to do well.
You're
like,
going with a winning attitude.
I'm going with a winning attitude. Like, I'm going there to win events. There might be events that I zero out on. Like, I can't deadlift the weight that they've got yet. You know, like, my best axle deadlift is 225. The weight is 260.
Yeah. The starting weight is 260?
Yeah, it's 260 for max reps in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And, like I'm probably going to zero that event.
Yeah.
But that 60 seconds, I'm going to be there tugging on that thing like no tomorrow.
Yeah. And you know what? The adrenaline on the day,
Yeah, you never know,
you
right?
never know.
Even
You
if I
never
could
know.
break it like an inch off the ground, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, I'm getting good.
No, screw that. I'm going to lift it. I'm going to lift it.
I've got faith in you, mate.
Thanks, Ray.
Do you know how many competitors are competing in March?
No idea.
Yeah. What was it? I think you can do all three. It'll be it'll be interesting what you predominantly train.
Yeah.
But you've got technique down, weightlifting, that's sorted.
It's maybe the flexibility
Yeah.
that you lose doing strongman.
I think powerlifting would take care of itself. I think if you trained strongman, that overall strength would benefit powerlifting and weightlifting more than just focusing on powerlifting and trying to be good at strong. Like,
Yes.
do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think strongman has that overall. If you just train strongman, you have a good chance of making powerlifting nationals and weightlifting nationals.
Yeah.
If you just train weightlifting, you got no hope. The other two.
Yeah.
If you just train powerlifting, I don't think the other two either.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I think, so, like, for me, my bench is super weak. Like, for the high level of powerlifting that I'm interested in.
Yeah, for powerlifting.
And you and Ash have both helped me tremendously. Like, my bench was like 105 when I first met you guys.
Yeah.
And, like, I benched 120 at your comp.
Mm.
Which is like, woo! You know, like, it's a
Yeah.
huge deal to me.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, Ash was like, oh yeah, like, because Ash is working here now.
Yeah.
And he's bringing that to the table. Like, yesterday he was deadlifting and I was like picking his brain about, like, his deadlift setup and how he, like, pumps things up.
I'm just going to plug my charger in.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, oh, I'm running out of time.
No, I'm packing up, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
No, just good charger.
But yeah, like, because he's been doing that. So, like, I think there's a lot on the table I can still learn.
Yeah.
But I think training-wise, I'll have to practice the bench.
Yeah.
Because it's so technical.
Yeah, and that comes with time. And I think what made a huge difference for me was going from 2 to 3 sessions a week on the bench.
Yes, and that's what Ash said to me too. Like, you just need to do it a lot, and you need to do it well. It doesn't have to be heavy.
Yeah.
But you need contact time with those
It's
exercises.
it's volume. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess snatch, clean, and jerk, I'll have to practice somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Just to keep that technical skill.
that's it. But, like, I feel strong.
Yeah, you look strong, man.
Like, those weights are going up, But whether they land in the right place or whatever, that's a different story.
Yeah.
In snatch, clean, and jerk. Like
you said, I think you'll have to keep working on that mobility.
Yes.
But I think, man, it's possible to go to all three. A little bit about... actually, what I want to ask you is...
Did you say Bitcoin? We're talking about Bitcoin?
Actually, I got a telemarketing call about Bitcoin yesterday. Weird. Why do you compete?
Me and Luke had a long conversation Tuesday night about this. Like,
did you?
Why we compete. It would have been an awesome podcast episode. For me, the drive to compete is like the relationships. I think it sounds douchey saying it.
No, not at all.
It does.
Everything's about relationships.
Yeah, but like I just meet so many cool people competing, and it's opened up my entire life, like competing in sport, because I never did sports well when I was young. I was never at a national level. I never found a passion for sport. And like if you hear me talk about sport with Steve, like I'm always making fun of sports. But you know, like weightlifting took me all around the country. It took me all around the world. I've been to China because of weightlifting.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
coaching
cool.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So like it's about the relationships, meeting cool people, getting to chat with people, things that some people can go their entire life and not leave where they are, not meet new people. They might go their entire life and not meet ever anyone. And I've, through these sports, through participating in them, not even like competing at a high level, I've met so many people.
I 100% back that up. It's very easy to be insular in your gym.
Yeah.
And I've met the people that I have met and been inspired, and it's given me a passion by going to competitions and competing, but also going to support other people, and the energy in the events and how they make you feel, and the people that you meet. It's a great natural drug. What's been your top 3 competitions that you've
well, I think
memorable?
I think this Arnold is going to be my
that'll be huge,
top.
Man.
Like nothing will ever top the amount of work that I'm putting into to get there, to do well there.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to top the experience of making it there. Which like I thought I didn't make it. And that's another like story which is like heartbreaking and cool, because we thought Jack made it and I didn't make it. And it ended up being the other way around.
How did Jack take that?
So well. That guy is one of my rocks. Like I'd say like our core group of like my friendship circle, like Shannon, Jane, Jack, Zofia, obviously my partner Kush.
Yeah.
But she's not here, so she didn't have to like deal with that as much. Like if I need help, I'll ring her. She's the person that she's my rock. Like gay. But like oh crap, I can't say that. But like,
for those that don't know, Kush, how long have you been together?
Oh, like we've been together for like 10 years, man.
Yeah. And
like,
she doesn't live in Australia.
No, she lives in Vancouver in Canada.
Yeah.
She left me alone. Nah, she got a freaking awesome opportunity to work with her mentor, the person that she looks up to the most, the person that is the highest in her eyes of the field of physiotherapy.
Yeah.
So she had a practice here, she had a good second job, like she was on the path to having everything she wanted. And she got the opportunity to go there to further her craft, to have a new experience. And you know, she asked me like, what should I do? Should I pursue this? And I was like, no, don't leave me. And like on one hand I was like that, and we had to work through that. And on the other hand, I was like, I don't want to be the person that stops you from doing your things. Like, you've never done that to me. You've always pushed me out of my comfort zone to grow and be better. So
it was brave to say that.
It was an obvious choice, but not one that I haven't stepped back on.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I will still blame her openly for leaving me.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's not like open, shut, like, case closed.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you should go. It's the greatest opportunity ever. Next minute, like, hey,
Yeah.
Kush, you left me, you bitch. Like, why? But that's human nature,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And I feel so bad that she has to deal with the duality that I am. Like, I often tell Steve, like, I'm a man of contradiction.
Yeah.
Like, I can be so wise and behave the other way, or I can be so stupid and sometimes behave well.
It's because you miss her.
Yeah, I do miss her. I'm so lonely.
Yeah. How long is she there for?
So her contract's like 2 years,
Yeah.
which will be up this November, but we don't know. Maybe she'll re-sign. Maybe she gets a good gig. Maybe she just likes being over there. Maybe she likes traveling.
Yeah.
So who knows where the road may take us?
Life's an interesting journey, isn't it?
That's it. But I'm
Yeah.
along for the ride.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, maybe distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, it doesn't work out between us. Who knows?
How often do you speak or how often do you see her?
Like FaceTime?
FaceTime, yeah?
Yeah, like we FaceTime all the time.
Cool.
Like I'll speak to her. There might be like 2 or 3 days in between sometimes, but usually every day we'll say something to each other.
Yeah.
At the very least, a meme is sent.
Yeah. And you recently went over there to see her?
Yeah, last year in July.
Oh,
so not that
shit.
recently. So I haven't seen her in months.
Time goes fast.
Yeah, it does, right?
Yeah.
Because we recorded our podcast before I went.
That's right. Wow. Time flies.
It does.
Speaking of time, just tell me when you need to go.
I'm good
Yeah.
as long as you're
Yeah.
okay to keep going. You
I'll,
tell me when you need to go.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna have to do a part 2.
Yeah, that's cool.
Opening your business. Why did you start a weightlifting club, or how did it start? Why your own business? How did you get into all of this, the gym environment?
Okay, I will tell you that. Can I add one more thing?
Yes.
To one, Kush is coming here to visit in a couple of weeks. I'm super pumped about that.
That's awesome.
Which is amazing because, like, one, she hasn't seen like me for a while.
Yeah.
But 2, like, I'd love for her to see what the gym is. And I
Yeah.
think it'll be hilarious that she's an owner of the gym and she'll walk in and there are so many new people here. They'll be like, "Oh, who are you?"
Yeah, she's here to sign up.
Yeah, they'll think that. And also, like, she doesn't have swipe card access, so, like, she's not even going to be able to get in. So, I mean, I guess she'll come with me, but it's just funny that,
Yeah.
you know, like, she's an owner and doesn't have access to all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, like, the other reason that I compete and train so vigorously for competition is because I own this gym. I'm a leader and I lead from the front. The greatest way to be better at anything is to strive to be the best. And if you're doing that, that means competition.
Yep.
So I will never push anyone else into competing, but understand that if you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to have some level of competition, whether that's in the gym, whether it's outside of it, or whatever. You want to make PBs, you want to fast track your progress, you need a sliding scale of greatness. So I lead from the front because I want other people to see what I do and be like, "Oh, I could do that.
Yep.
I could definitely do that." And that's one thing I told Ash the other day as well.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, dude, like, you wanna be a coach? You're young. You gotta get that credibility up.
Yep.
People need to see how hard you work. No one cares if you pull big numbers in the gym, but you gotta compete, show people, even if you're shitty. Like, he's so strong.
Yeah.
Like, the guy has a 230 deadlift.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's not a big dude.
And he's getting better and better. You know.
Yeah, so, like,
where
I'm
he
not-
could end up at age 35.
Yeah.
is
And he's young too. How old is
anywhere.
he?
25.
Yeah. So he's young. Younger than me, at least. Baby.
20 years younger than me. Yeah.
But like I'm not using him as an example. I'm just using because he started working here.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, like you definitely, and he does have competitions that he wants to do, but I'm like, no, you need to compete now.
Yeah, he did one end of last year. He did his first weightlifting competition.
I did. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I think he understands that, and mate, he's got a big future if he wants one in this industry.
So big. He's smart. I have such intelligent conversations with him. Like brief. Like I don't know him well, and he's like we talked about. He's like a little harder to read.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like penetrate that exterior shell that he has.
Yeah.
And because I want to be friends with him.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah. He's. I think he has positive thoughts and he likes stuff. He just. It's hard to read.
Yeah.
But he does.
Yeah.
Like every conversation I've had with him, it's like, wow, that's amazing, you know, but yeah, he doesn't, I guess it's that outward showing of emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all inside, but
that's it. I want to get in there. I don't want
yeah,
you know.
He'll be fantastic here.
Oh, he's already fantastic here.
Yeah.
And I can see it, his attention to detail.
Attention to detail
that's my like, ooh.
Yeah.
Shiny toy, that's awesome.
I might be jumping around here, but you know, I asked you about how all this started, but you know, you've got Steve here now and Ash. Is there you're trying to get more, broaden the coaching here?
Yeah, for sure. So Steve has like this extensive CrossFit background. He and me started training together like 2013 or 2012, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, he's one of the best CrossFitters in Australia, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't achieved quite the level that he could, and he's gonna get there. But he's not only an amazing athlete, but I told you before, like he's a better coach than me in a lot of ways. Like he controls the room.
How old is he?
He's younger than Ash.
Yeah,
Maybe
wow.
20. I think he looks like he's 47, but he's like 23.
And has the uneducated opinions of a 47-year-old.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I love Steve.
Yeah.
He's the best. But I'm trying to make raw barbell into something great. And it can't be great if it's just me standing here talking shit.
How did this start, raw barbell?
Again, luck.
Yep.
I loved weightlifting, and at the CrossFit gym I originally was at, CrossFit Northwest, they had two people as part of their weightlifting club. One was me, Steve. Actually, Steve was the second person, and then he decided like he didn't want to pursue weightlifting anymore, and then so it was just me, and the second person was Kush, who actually at that time didn't even live in Sydney. So she's moved away before. She's someone I feel like is going to move away for the rest of her life. She was living in Armadale.
Oh God.
Yeah, the worst place in the world.
Jesus.
So yeah, like she was there, and it was just us two. So I'm like training alone in the corner, kind of like what Ash. That's why I see a likeness to Ash. Like he's at a CrossFit gym, training
in
alone
the corner.
outside. Yeah.
Training outside. Yeah.
So that was me, and I was like, that's why I started like my Instagram accounts, like Train with Andy. You know, like I got really into weightlifting really fast and fell in love, and I wanted more people to train with. So I started. That's when I got into coaching and was like, oh, I'm gonna just grow the base of people here that are interested in that. They were doing barbell classes, so I started coaching barbell classes. Then I was like, you know, like Rob and Jess noticed that I was actually a decent coach, and they're like, oh, look, you know, why don't you take on some CrossFit classes as well? And I was like, yeah, you know what, like I don't like doing CrossFit, but I'm really good at gymnastics because I studied that, like I loved it, and I've got a real attention to detail. So like, of course,
fits
I'll do
perfectly
that too.
Yeah.
And then one day I was at a CrossFit comp, just supporting. And that was another thing that I really tried to do, like be a real part of that community, CrossFit Northwest. And Rob came down to me and he's like, so I'm going to tell you something, but please don't tell anyone else. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I just bought a gym a second gym. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Have you, like, what are your future plans? What are you going to do in the future? Are you going to go open your own weightlifting club or gym? Like, no matter what people say about the dude, he's very intelligent. And like, I was like, yeah, eventually, probably. He's like, would you be interested in opening your own weightlifting club within the gym that I'm opening? And I was like, huh, maybe? I didn't think this would happen this early. But like, how can you look a gift horse in the face and not take it? So I talked to Kush, and Kush was like, you know what, like, why, you'd be silly not to do that. And so we set up a deal, and I opened Raw Barbell within CrossFit Northwest in McGrath's Hill.
That involved paying rent?
Yeah, so it actually involved a lot of just taking classes.
Yep.
So I paid for my rent with my time, which
Cool.
I had a lot of.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was working best of both worlds. And then I guess the reason that we have this space is because over time, like, that relationship and the way that that system was set up wasn't the best for either of us anymore. And then that relationship fell off a little bit, and we ended up here.
Yeah. So you outgrew that space, or you just crossed over too much?
Yeah, I would say it's more that.
Yeah.
Like, it became tough to coexist. At least that's what they said. Like, I thought we did a real good job of, like, being a valuable part of that space.
Yeah. From an outsider looking in at that time, it was following you on Instagram. It was you were getting bigger, it seemed like, and then next thing you were here, and in my mind it was like, oh, okay, they just outgrew that space.
Yeah.
And they moved into here, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what it appeared from the outside.
And we didn't, like, and I still have never talked about it, and I never will, because I'm so grateful to Rob and Jess for pushing me. Like I said, a lot of my, like, Rob was a mentor for me, Rob and Jess.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes things don't work out.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that.
There's plenty of those experiences in life.
But they pushed me to start again. Like, I feel like I'm a reluctant business owner. The only time I ever started a business of my own accord, it failed miserably.
Yeah, right.
And I lost tens of thousands of dollars.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that business?
I tried to import something called robo-snails.
What?
Robo-snails. So you know
Right.
what a Roomba is?
No.
Like a robotic vacuum cleaner?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, essentially that, but for your fish tank.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And there was this new product, and I was super excited about it. And I misjudged the timing, misjudged the pricing, and I still have, like, hundreds of them sitting in my garage.
You're joking.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, like, think about, like, importing, like, tens of thousands of dollars worth of product that you've just never moved. And so, like, I just look at them, like, if I go into my room at my parents' house, like, there's a bunch sitting there, and I look at them and I'm like, that is your biggest business failure to this day. And I guess it came from, like, a lot of the stuff people asked for.
Yes.
Like, people wanted me to come to their houses and clean fish tanks. People wanted me to train them. And they asked me before I opened the gym and stuff. But, like, with that, I was like, well, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Can you not sell them at all?
I look, every now and then, they're on eBay. Every
Yeah.
now and then someone buys one.
Yeah.
And I've, like, heavily discounted the price just to get rid of them. Like,
Yeah.
to just recoup any sort of cost.
Yeah.
But they move so slowly.
Yeah.
And it's a funny story among my friendship group that, like, because it's kind of like, you know, have you watched The Pursuit of Happiness?
No.
It's like a Will Smith
Okay.
movie where he's selling, like, these portable X-ray machines essentially, and he's hustling so hard to sell one, and it's kind of like a Gary Vee story of him, like, hustling so hard to sell stuff to then earn an internship and whatnot, and, like, that's what it was kind of like. And I never sold, like, enough of them.
Yeah. Do you know how many you have left?
I don't count because I don't want to know.
You'll cry.
Yeah, I would cry again probably. It's really funny because that never, again, it was another thing that I lost all that money, but I didn't go into debt to lose that money. But that was all of my savings at that time.
Yeah, so you would feel sad, not cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny.
Because you have to imagine, like, if I had a stack of money as big as those robo snails, you'd be cheering.
You'd have a much bigger gym.
Yeah.
What was the feeling of, okay, you're going to have to part ways at McGrath's Hill?
Yeah.
What was the leap of faith to go into your own facility? Did you consider just closing it down?
Yeah, I did. It was really the people that trained here.
Yeah.
It was, Jane, Jack, Zafia, Greg, Kara, Alex, Kaz, Bo, those guys, like the guys that were in our crew. They needed a place to train. They weren't going to go to CrossFit.
Yeah.
And we'd built something great.
Yeah.
Something that I was really proud of at the time.
Yeah. It looked, watching it from the outside, it looked fun.
And it was fun. It still is fun.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like we moved here, and that first year was obviously a honeymoon period.
Yeah. What was it like your first year in
Here?
Raw Barbell
Here?
in its current state? Yeah.
In its current state, it was amazing. It was fun. Ree was another big part of that. Someone that I failed, but like was also like the reason that we have the Raw Barbell we have now. But yeah, like it was a honeymoon state. Like it was fun. Like you imagine what it's like to be in a new relationship.
Yeah.
That's what it was like here.
Yeah, right. That's
And
a
now,
lot of fun.
And now you have to work to keep that fire.
Yeah.
Whereas the fire was just there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what it's
any
like when you open a
relationship.
business.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do differently now than what you did back then?
I was very controlling back then.
Okay.
Very controlling of everyone's training. It was weightlifting, powerlifting, or really just weightlifting and a bit of powerlifting. It was, you have to do this way. It was stricter. And I've learned to let the reins go. And I think that's a big part of why I can hire coaches now.
Yeah.
Whereas I couldn't, like I say, I failed Ree, like she was our first hire. And I talked to you about this before, was like, even when Ash first came and wanted to work here years ago, or a year or two ago, and we weren't ready for each other. One, Ash wasn't ready to be the coach he is now. And then I wasn't ready to be the, like, I'm not going to say I'm going to mentor him, but like be a mentor or even just be a good employer to him. Like I was a terrible employer to Ree.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't pay her well because we couldn't afford it, and she knew that.
Yeah.
But I didn't support her well enough. I didn't take into account her personal life. I didn't do a lot of things that I now regret.
Or learnt from.
And I've learnt from that. And I probably owe her a call one day to like, and we're cool. Like we didn't end on bad terms. She was just at a different point in her life, and she wanted different things. She didn't want to do this really. Like her heart wasn't in it. Yeah. But that's cool.
What have you been some of your struggles that people might not know owning a business?
Owning a business. I mean, again, like with Aquaria, like little things get you. Like I'm easily hurt in the sense that like if someone quits the gym, I will fret over that for months.
Why?
Just because like I feel like I've failed them.
Yeah.
I feel like that relationship's gone now because it is. Like I'm under no impressions that sometimes people are training here not to be my best friends, but for the service, which is good because like I'm really good at what I do. Yeah. But at the same time, like I'm personally invested in their success, and if they leave, then I lose that. So if anyone leaves, if anyone, brings up things or faults, like I don't take criticism very well. I'm getting so much better at it. Yeah. But even as a child, like someone says something bad to me, I'm like, no, you're bad.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and like I'm so much more aware of that stuff now that I can work on it.
Yeah, I think that changes as you get older, and the more you are exposed to that. And being in the gym industry, we're open to criticism, and people are very quick to judge.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so much competition around, and there's so many gyms, they can just flip-flop between the relationships. Sometimes don't matter to some people.
Yeah.
But to the gym owner, they really do matter. Ones that care anyway.
Yeah.
So you do take criticism hard. Do you know what? So social media.
Yeah.
How important has that been to Raw Barbell, and why do you do it?
It's been integral. I use it mainly to talk to our crew. So like our crew is very active on social media.
Yeah.
Not so much like the greater public, but like I'm so proud of everyone that trains here. And like if you make it onto like the Raw Barbell page or the Raw Barbell story, that means you've probably done something in that session that's like really impressed me. Whether it's your positioning, you actually showing up on a regular basis, or you've done something just so hilarious that
I was gonna say, or failing in an epic manner.
Yes, exactly. So like social media has been really important to us, but it's the way we talk to each other, and show off like what we're doing.
Yes.
And that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
It started because I had mice at home, and me and Kush filmed our escapade to get rid of the mice that were in our room. And I'm talking like we had like I killed like 20 mice in our room.
Wow.
In my mouse traps and stuff, and I learned so much about getting rid of mice in that day.
Yeah. What were you using?
Oh, just like we use mouse traps first.
Yeah.
And then things like mint, like they don't like peppermint.
Yeah.
They don't like ammonia, so like ammonia spray. They don't like steel wool. So if you ever have like a mouse hole or a hole that you just shove a whole bunch of steel wool in there, and they just won't go near it because it scratches their nose. They don't like bay leaves.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot of things that you like, natural remedies to just like curb them away from a certain part of the house,
right? And
then you kill them in the roof or in humane traps. Yeah. But like, I'm a ruthless motherfucker. So.
Yeah, I'm ruthless too. And you know what works best on the traps? Peanut butter.
Yeah. So I learnt that too.
Yeah, I learnt that. It's never failed me. Yeah. Yeah, social media is, I think, so you record a lot.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend creating your social media and podcasts a week?
So it depends. I have dark moments and like really manic work times. So I can be like super lazy and not do anything for like weeks at a time. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that episodes aren't going up. Yeah. Or weeks haven't gone up. Like today, like I've already recorded an episode of a podcast before you got here. And then we did some computer work, chatted.
You helped me.
Yeah. And then we were doing this podcast now. Yeah. But then like I haven't recorded a Raw Barbell podcast in like 3 weeks.
Yes.
Right. So it just depends on the week.
Yeah.
And that's how I divvy it up. A podcast takes an hour and a bit to record, probably an hour and a bit to edit the video, maybe a little bit less to edit the video, and the audio and put up. So that's 2 hours a week on the podcast on each episode. Yeah. Our videos, I just video while I'm coaching. Yeah. Like I've got a little tripod that it sits on, and and video, and I walk around sometimes.
Yeah.
I try to capture like the most interesting moments, the heaviest lifts,
Yeah.
PBs,
Yeah.
things that are just hilarious. Because like people are so funny.
Yeah.
Like you guys have that podcast at your gym now, and like that
Subpar
athlete group.
podcast. Yeah.
Like the banter that must go on between those boys. And
Yeah.
I've met them. Like I competed with them.
Yeah.
Like those guys are hilarious.
Yeah, that's how it started. Was just the banter that goes on
Yeah.
around the gym is like, fuck, this would probably be pretty funny. Let's see if anyone else would listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like it'd be a tragedy to me if stuff like that, if people didn't get to see that. Cause like Jack, on top of being amazingly talented, strong, a commanding presence, he's a leader within this gym. But the guy is witty, he's hilarious, and he is so smart.
Yeah.
So the shit that comes out of his mouth
Yeah.
is gold.
Yeah. It is. I really like your page because it's not. You see the serious side of training, but you see the non-serious side of training, and you get a really good balance, and it looks fun. So, mate, it's a credit to you what you do. Did you always feel comfortable in front of the camera, or is it something that's developed?
So I'm still not comfortable in front of the camera. If you look at a lot of our vlogs, like on YouTube and stuff, like I wasn't heavily featured until I started training for the Arnold. Like I would just follow around the guys, and you'd hear my voice in the background, but you wouldn't see me because it was about capturing their journey. But now I realize that and I always had that battle because like if you look at Yannick's Shred Fitness page, like that's also his personal page.
Yes.
He doesn't have 2 accounts on his Instagram, but I do. So I've always kept things separate. And now more and more I'm like merging the two a little bit because not only am I the owner of the gym, but as we get more coaches and stuff, I'm also an athlete within the gym.
Yeah.
I jokingly said to Zafia and Jack the other day, I was like, hey guys, like, they were like, oh, you're hiring coaches and stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, like the dream would be for me to not coach here and just be a member. Because I want to train with you guys. You guys look like you have so much fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in charge of it. Like, I'm happy to do all the admin work.
Yeah.
But I just want to be here as an athlete because it's so much fun.
Even outsourcing the cleaning. Have you fixed your mop situation?
Dude, I wanted to talk about that today.
Yeah.
Did you see the state of my floor downstairs?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, I had that, I messaged you, I asked you.
Yeah.
You were like, you need to go get this type of mop. I went to Bunnings because I couldn't go to Abco at first. I have since gone to Abco.
Did it help?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I got the mop. I mean, I haven't used it yet, but the mop's in my van.
Okay.
Anyway, so guys, for those that don't know, cleaning a gym floor is the bane of a gym owner's existence.
It's shit.
You get sweat, there's chalk, there's a protective layer on those rubber mats that you shouldn't get rid of because that's what stops it from flaking.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it's so absorbent that you have oil stains and stuff from the sweat in people's bodies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, cleaning that, you can vacuum a lot of chalk up.
Yeah.
But you do have to mop up, otherwise you're going to have the stains on the mats. Now, if you use a cotton mop, what you get is lint and fluff everywhere because the mats aren't completely flat. They grab. So I've mopped before and I had that issue. And then I haven't mopped since. I've just vacuumed.
Yeah.
And, with the heat and with the amount of fitness our guys do, like we're a hybrid gym now. We're no longer just weightlifting.
There's so much more fitness going on here.
Yeah.
More strongman, more fitness going on here than ever before.
And that's me loosening the reins.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just a weightlifting gym anymore. I do weightlifting. We do strongman. We do powerlifting. We do CrossFit. I've got guys here that are seriously trying to train for CrossFit, but it's just like an individual basis.
Yeah.
So you lose that camaraderie that like your gym would have.
Yeah.
But you might gain other things.
Yeah.
You know, like it's give and take.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not for everyone.
Pros and cons to both.
Exactly. There's pros to the way your gym's set up, and there's pros to the way my gym's set up.
Absolutely.
But the end goal is the same. We're fighting fatness.
And it's always stuck with me that our competition is not each other.
Yeah.
Our competition is the TV and the lounge.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I brought that up, because you said that to me and it stuck with me.
Yeah.
That's why we can be friends.
That's right, exactly. I've never looked at another gym owner since that, hearing that, the same. We're all trying to help people live healthier, happier lives. There's a certain amount of people that are actively doing that already. Instead of trying to steal people or say my gym's better than yours and taking people away from each other, we need to all focus collectively on the people that are not doing fucking anything.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
going home and watching shit on TV and then just eating themselves to death and diabetes and don't even get me started. So,
Dude, I mean, like my strongman coach owns a gym in Penrith.
yeah,
Like he's just down the road. Like if we were all closed up, like I wouldn't be on your podcast. You wouldn't be on my podcast.
Yeah.
You know, like as gym owners, we're the only people we got.
that's right.
We do actually need to chat and talk and be together.
Because there's collectively we can be a powerhouse. On our own, we'll just die. Where, so I'm all about trying to be in that collective environment and learn from other people and, who knows where it'll end up.
Yeah, and like we've talked before about potential like ways we can integrate each other, things like passport memberships and stuff. And, like nothing's come about it yet, but like the closer we get, the more stuff like that becomes possible.
Yeah, like our place needs weightlifting room. You might need someone to jump into a CrossFit class.
Exactly.
We're talking about a podcast room.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows where the world will take us?
That's right. But what I do know is that it's a far more positive place to think like that.
Yeah.
Rather than be insular and worry about and try and sabotage other businesses and to fluff your own ego and try and take all the pie for yourself.
Yeah.
How about we all grow the pie?
Yeah. That's
and take
100%.
bigger slices.
Mop. I was talking about mop.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. So I went to
fluffs everywhere.
So it's happened before. I went to Bunnings. There's no I hadn't mopped yet, and I was like, I'll go buy the microfiber mop which is
lint
what you
free.
told.
Yep.
Yeah, lint free microfiber mop, and I hope my one that I just bought is lint free. I don't know. Shit. The lady said.
Did you get it from Abco?
Yeah, I did.
It should be right.
Is it the blue one, or which one did you get?
Blue.
Okay. I hope mine's blue. But I'll show you afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went there. They didn't have any microfiber mops. So I was like, heavy cotton industrial mop, like low lint. And I was like, okay, I'll just get that.
Yep.
So I bought a blue one of those, came here, cleaned, vacuumed everything, started mopping, spotless. I'm like, this is amazing. I've done so well. And then it dried, man. It dried, and the gym looked like a war zone. It looked worse. That you can imagine.
I know. I've been there, man.
If I got a chalk bucket, came up here, and just threw chalk onto the floor, it would look better than what it looked like after I cleaned the gym.
It's soul destroying, isn't it?
It is, and the thing is, you can't get rid of it. Like I vacuumed straight away.
Yep.
It wouldn't go.
Yeah.
It's been weeks and weeks of vacuuming, and it's at the state it is now, which still you can see the fluff on the floor.
Yeah, well, I did walk around down there. I didn't notice it, so it's got better.
Yeah.
It's almost like you got to scrape it with a wire brush
To get rid of it.
Okay, so we haven't tried the lint-free one yet, so we'll get that out after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have a look at it. Make sure it's the right one.
Yeah, and do a patch first, not the whole gym. So that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
I started with the whole gym and turn around, what the fuck? What is this? What the And then realised.
Yeah.
Then we took that, we went and bought another mop, and this, because we just thought that was a faulty mop.
Yeah.
But we bought the same thing, and the same thing happened. But we did a smaller section. That's when, okay, the pennies dropped. Okay, then we went and specifically said, hey, all this shit's been left on the rubber thing. They go, oh, you need a lint-free mop.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for telling us that before. Well, probably they can't read minds, but it's so much better now.
That's awesome.
It doesn't leave anything.
So the funny part of the story, though, is that I had reached out to you and told you my predicament. You gave me sound advice, and then I ignored it and just tried to do it my way. And it's just funny, like someone who talks about growth, about learning from other people, and it's like I was talking about before, like I'm a walking contradiction. Like I asked for advice, and then I didn't take it. Had to learn from myself again. Like I've already done this. I've already made that mistake.
Yeah.
And I mopped the whole gym again, and I had to go through it all over.
Sometimes we need those lessons.
Yeah, slow learner sometimes.
Mate, no, it's all good. Well, hopefully this one will work and we can get that sorted. I think we're all humans of contradiction, especially when we, I don't know, just life's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm constantly a hypocrite.
Yeah, yeah.
But you either love me or you don't.
It is what it is.
That's it.
Mate, I have to go.
Cool. This is probably a good place to finish.
Yeah, great. Great place. We should do this again.
Sure.
More often. How can people find you?
So guys, you can find me at Train with Andy on Instagram, or at Raw Barbell Club on Instagram, or all of the gym social media. So that's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Check us out. We have a podcast as well.
Yep.
Craig's been on it. It'd be cool if you check that out. And yeah, guys, like if you're interested in training, if you just want to chat, reach out to Craig, reach out to me. It'd be cool.
Uneducated Opinions.
Oh yeah, I have another podcast with Steve. It's called at Uneducated Opinions. That's where we talk about more life stuff. It's like two guys drinking beers and just talking about things that they have no business talking about. Really.
Yeah, tackling some big issues
with very little insight. It's a silly podcast, but it's so much fun.
It's great. Both the podcasts, Raw Barbell Club and Uneducated Opinions, they're enjoyable, mate, and educational. And if you haven't already, check them out, subscribe. You won't regret it.
Thanks, dude. That's a glowing endorsement.
Andy, just to finish off, I admire what you're doing here at Raw Barbell Club. I admire every time I've reached out to you, you've been so giving of your time, so helpful of your time, and you had no reason to other than being a good person. Over time, hopefully, I can give you the insight of what the impact you have had on me. And I'll forever be grateful for the time that you've given me and the help that you've given me. So thank you. And mate, hopefully this is just the beginning of, working on projects together and growing that pie of helping people be happier and healthier and educating everyone.
Yeah, man.
So, mate, thank you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Keep fighting the good fight.
That's it. Thanks, brother.